I actually started the channel because I ran a live event called Ideas and Inspiration. So since we were putting in the work to get good speakers, we decided that, you know what, hey, why not record this and also put it up on YouTube? So about 1.5 years into running the channel, we were still only at about 300 subscribers. And then something happened. And this was around November 2019. One of my videos on the channel went viral. And the moment a video goes viral, what happens is that it starts attracting more eyes. And this is a point where you really have to capitalize on the momentum of that growth. So then I started pushing a few other videos to the audiences that were to the subscribers that was already coming to the channel. And then they started exploring more of the videos on the channel. So how do you push videos to your subscribers? Is simple things like at the end of the video, you can actually suggest what's the next video for them to watch. So that's what I started doing in the form of end screens. And then the second video went viral. And once two videos started going viral, right, very quickly from 300 subscribers, within a month, I had 1,000 subscribers. And then within another month, that went up to about 50,000 subscribers. And before you know it, today, it's at 430,000 subscribers, where I'm still attracting about 700 to 800 subscribers a day. The kind of content that you're making, but the kind of content heavily depends on the kind of subscribers you're trying to attract. So say, for example, right, if your channel is about photography, obviously you want to attract photographers. Could be budding photographers, could be amateur photographers, or could be professional photographers who want to learn some new tips and tricks that you may have to share. For photographers, it could be reviews, it could be something like under the hood, looking at things I've never seen. As long as you're making content that is in line with who your subscribers are, then it's going to be a good chance you can attract more subscribers and keep the subscribers that you have engaged. But say, for example, if you start your channel for photographers, but 2 videos or 3 videos into making content for photographers, you suddenly start doing video game reviews. Now what's going to happen is that people who have came and bought for photography are going to feel that, hey, well, why are you suddenly starting to make videos about video games? And then your subscribers are going to get lost with the theme of your channel. So I would say if you want to keep the momentum going, you want to make sure you attract the right audience and you want to keep them engaged, you must first decide on the theme of your channel. For me, I take my inspiration from TED. So the theme for my channel has always been content that is going to inspire others towards positive change. You want to look at your analytics. One thing you want to look at, you want to see where's your audience coming from. That means which part of the world are they coming from? For example, my channel, about 40 to 50% of my audience are from India. So by knowing that most of my audience, at least 40, 50% are from India, when creating videos, remember when we're creating videos, we are trying to solve certain pain points. We're trying to bridge certain gaps. So I want to look at, okay, so what could be some of the pain points, some of the gaps that I want to help bridge for my audience in India? And then I start looking at relevant topics that's going to help them. So I don't do this for every video, but because I've got 40 to 50% from India, I try to do it maybe 2 out of 3 videos, or maybe 2 out of 4 videos is trying to help certain pain points that people in India may be facing. And then I look at what's going to be my next biggest demographic of people, where are they coming from? And then I want to look at what are some pain points that can be bridged there, and so on and so forth. The next thing you want to look at is this. You want to look at your retention rate for your videos. That means every video that you put in, especially your videos that get a lot of views, because there are going to be some videos that you get a lot of views, and then there are going to be some videos that you don't get views. And you want to study what's the difference between these 2 videos. Why is it that video A, more people watched it, and video B, lesser people watched it? And one of the good ways to look at it is to really go into your analytics and to look at your retention, either your retention percentage or your retention duration. That means how many seconds or how many minutes did people watch before they clicked away? And you want to compare your best performing video and your worst performing video. You want to see what did you do wrong, and you may want to cut that portion. Whether it's on that same video, you can cut that portion off. In YouTube Studio yourself, you can do minor editing. You want to cut that portion off, or you want to look into your future videos to make sure you avoid that same mistake. For example, Filler words. A lot of times when we're doing a live speech, we can have a lot of ums and ums and pauses like what I just did here. But when it's a YouTube video, one thing is this: the audience online who are watching videos, they want the pace to move quite fast. We, as content creators, have the luxury to cut away all the pauses and the filler words and so I would say that if people are clicking away simply because at the point where you're pausing for too long or your content is not moving, for your future videos while you're in post-production, cut all those parts away. Make sure your content is moving at a good pace. It's okay to have jump. If you don't know what jump cuts are, just do a quick Google search on what are jump cuts and just utilize those. So just keep the content moving. Other than that, right, I would say also learn how to edit using transitions to add that variety. Because one thing is this: video can get a bit monotonous after a while. So you want to introduce a little bit of a scene change. So if you look at jump cuts, there's also zoom cuts, meaning it could be a single angle like this, a single camera angle like this, but from time to time, the video zooms in just a little bit, and that introduces that visual variety to the viewer. And then you can introduce B-roll footage. It could be stock footage. It could be stuff that you take. It could be animation. It could even be slides that you have created. The other thing that you may want to do is keep the content moving. And what that means is this: first of all, get to the point. Say, for example, your video is 7 ways to engage your audience. Within the first 15 to 20 seconds, you want to get into the first way straight away. It should be as simple as this: hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Jit here. And on this channel, I create a lot of videos to inspire people towards positive change. Today, I'm going to speak about 7 ways to keep your audience engaged. Let's start with the first way. And you get straight into it. And if that makes a difference, because end of the day, right? And here's the other thing, right? As a content creator, please feel free to delete the videos that are not performing well. Because honestly, if those video is not serving you or the people that you're trying to reach, then there's actually no point keeping that video there. Delete that video, reshoot that same content, try a different approach, and then upload that video again. So like an A/B testing, but you can keep going to even an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z if you want, but keep experimenting and keep testing until you find what works for your audience. So in other words, one trap I would say that we have to stay away from is being too one-dimensional in the kind of videos that we create, especially when our channel is new. So introduce a little bit of variety in the way you're putting forth your content, and then see which is the kind of videos that attracts the most people, and then just make more videos like that. If you are creating content on YouTube, one of your goals should be to monetize your channel. That means be part of the YouTube Partner Program. So you have to apply to be part of the YouTube Partner Program, and there are qualifying criteria. So what are the criteria? One, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, which means you must first have 1,000 subscribers on your channel, and then you must have hit 4,000 watch hours in under a year. Every year, this counter resets. The other thing you can do is you can host a lot of YouTube live sessions when you're trying to accumulate those watch hours, because live sessions are a great way to collect watch hours. So once you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, now you qualify for the YouTube Partner Program. And once you're accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, you can turn on advertisements for your videos. So how much can you earn? On average, the number that you're looking at is this: for every 1,000 views, it's about $2 to $3. It may not sound like it's a lot, but it is a volume game. And that is why you are really looking at growing your subscribers and creating quality content so that you can get a lot of views for each video. So 1,000 views, $2 to $3, 10,000 views, $20 to $30, 10,000 views, and you do the math from there. Rough estimate of how much you can earn, but it also differs from content to content. So certain kind of content tend to attract different, or at least advertisers with deeper pockets, which means you can now earn more for the same amount of view. For 1,000 view, instead of $2 to $3, you may be earning $10. So Like for my channel right now, what I earn on a daily basis ranges from about $75 all the way to about $200. So what you can do is this, you can actually promote your content, the videos that you have on other social media platforms. So what's going to work really badly, and I'm telling you right now, is to take your YouTube video link and to post it on a different social media platform, because the different social media platforms right now have become very protective about their users, meaning they don't want the people their users to click away and go somewhere else. So when you take a YouTube link and you share it on Facebook, you're not going to get a lot of traction. If you take that link, you share it on LinkedIn, you're not going to get a lot of traction. So what I would suggest you do is this: break that video just into some bite-sized portions. It could be a little trailer. It could be a snippet from that video. Once you create that little snippet, upload that video natively onto Facebook, Instagram, or even LinkedIn, and then direct them back to your channel by saying that, hey, you know what, to watch the full video, just visit my YouTube channel.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it like I did. If you did, feel free to share it with all your colleagues, peers, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.